Hey everybody, this is a little bit of a teaser trailer for the video that I'll be posting tomorrow about the yellow wallpaper. I know I said I'd have the video up by this evening, but some things came up and I wasn't able to get it all set the way that I wanted to uh, before super late tonight. So I apologize for that. But what we're going to be doing is talking a little bit about, um, about the characterization, setting, and about the point of view of this story. Point of view is going to feature very heavily because I don't know if you noticed as you were reading, but what is going on in this lady's head? She's starting off, seeming like she's, maybe depressed or, in some sort of depressive state. And then she just sort of shifts into interacting with wallpaper and a woman who lives in that wallpaper. I don't know about you guys, but I don't really talk to my walls. If you do, I'm not judging. But it's not something that I can really relate to. And I'd imagine probably a lot of us can't either. I mean, she even talks about when she was younger, she used to imagine things on her blank walls, which I think everyone does that when they're younger, right? You open your eyes in the middle of the night, it's dark out, you see a shadow, you imagine things. But as an adult, finding a woman creeping around behind a pattern in the wallpaper, that's a little strange. And I want us to keep in mind that this is written in the early 20th century, so the early 1900s. I also want you to keep in mind, and a lot of people miss this, but the narrator has just had a baby. Okay, so some of you might have picked up on the fact that she is likely experiencing postpartum depression. So that is a major contributor to why she's in this situation to begin with. Okay, her husband is taking her away from city life or suburban life and is bringing her into the country so she can rest and relax and get better. Okay, does it seem to be working? No, I would say no, right? Anything that starts off with someone, being able to hold a conversation and then ends with them being possessive over wallpaper and getting mad at anyone who tries to look at it. Um, and then also thinking that she is the person coming out of the wallpaper, that doesn't seem like successful treatment. So I know that Charlotte Perkins Gilman was actually prescribed the rest cure that her narrator, who is unnamed, was also prescribed. And instead of helping the author, right, instead of helping Gilman, it ended up being to her detriment. So this is just some general context. So this was largely written um, as an explanation for why this rest cure is not a successful treatment for postpartum depression. Okay, so you want to keep that in mind as we're thinking this through. Okay, we also want to think through, you know, where is this set? She's isolated, she's alone. These grounds are huge. I mean, the yards have greenhouses and there's arbors and it's big, right? This is a hereditary estate, so it is massive. And you want to remember too that she's also now separated by water from where she normally lives. So they need to take the boat to get back home, right? So not only is she dealing with this, this mental illness, but she's also totally separated from everyone. She only gets to visit her family the one time they come in. Um, and that's only for a little while. And you know what? It makes her tired, probably because she hasn't seen anyone in ages, right? So you want to keep in mind those types of things. You also want to keep in mind the other characters that are happening in the story as well, right? We've got the unnamed narrator who references the reader one time as she's sort of going down the rabbit hole into potentially madness, right? So the reader is in there as well. She tries to kind of get us to go in cahoots with her, and we'll talk about that in the larger video. The other one that you really want to pay attention to is John, because John is the one who brings her out into into this space and prescribes this rest cure and assumes that he knows so much, right? I'm a doctor. I'm a doctor. I know things. You should listen to me. I know things. And I mean, really, does that work? If you don't listen to your patient as a doctor, one, are you really a doctor? Two, like, how is that going to help? Okay. And then, you also want to keep in mind that as a doctor, John is someone who's hyper rational, like over the top. He needs evidence to prove everything to him. So without that evidence, he can't understand things. And can he see evidence of mental illness? No, not really. I mean, he can see that she's, doing some strange things, but if he doesn't validate and value a diagnosis regarding mental illness, then he's not going to, respect or be able to treat the issues that she's having. So you want to keep those things in mind as well. You also want to think about, so these treatments that he's prescribing her, they make her seem kind of stupid and kind of dumb, like a baby, right? He even calls her um, some really childlike names, a blessed little goose, right? I don't know about you, but I don't know if I would call an adult a blessed little goose. So it says a lot about the power dynamics within their marriage, as well as the power dynamics within the doctor patient dynamic. So, it's something that we want to keep in mind as we're looking. Okay. There's also a couple of other things, like the fact that the timeline in here may not actually be the actual timeline that's happening in the story. Okay. You want to keep in mind that there are some things that are discussed in the beginning of the story, and I'll go into this deeper tomorrow. There are some things that happen initially that are revealed as something that she does in the room. And you don't realize it until you've read all the way through and you think, oh, did she bite the bed? Yes, I said that right. Did she bite the bed? She very well may have bitten her bed. Because you know what? She talks about it at the beginning. Oh, someone gnawed on this bed. And then at the end, she mentions it again. And then all of a sudden, she's so mad that she just takes a bite out of the bed. I don't know. That doesn't sound rational to me. But is she rational at the end? No, she thinks she's the woman that came out of the wallpaper. Okay, so this is an excellent story, and I'm going to go much deeper into it tomorrow, like I said, and also pull in information from the secondary source that we had to read um, regarding the panopticon, which I thought was absolutely fascinating. Hopefully, you did as well. But we're going to talk about all of those things tomorrow, so just hang tight and use this as a little teaser, and then take a look at the full analysis. Um, sometime in the next couple of days. Thanks, guys, for your patience, and thanks for being awesome. Have a great night.